Hello everyone. Today I will going to show you how to develop a APISIX plugin by Golang. APISIX is a very high performance API gateway. It allows users to extend functions through plugins. Although the APISIX core code is written in Lua, but we can still use other languages to write a plugin, such as Java, Golang, and Python. Here we will use Golang to show how to write a plugin. We will write a base authentication plugin. So let's get started. I have all the code in my repo, so we can clone this repo. Yeah, here. I already clone this repo in my local, so let's look at it. To implement APISIX plugin, we need to implement the plugin's interface. Let's look at it. That's the base authentication plugin, and we can see the base authentication plugin have three methods: name, path configure, and filter. And after we write the plugin, we will run it in and register it in the runner. And let's look at the runner's register plugin function. In here, we see register plugin access a interface, and the plugin's interface has three methods. Name returns the plugin's name, and path configure access a byte array, and returns a configure interface. And the filter function is the most important part. It used to handle the HTTP request. And the first argument is the configure we pass in the path configure function. And the W is a response writer. We can use it to write customer headers. And the R is the original HTTP request. We can see it's not the goes common HTTP request because APISIX don't have the whole life cycle. So let's implement this plugin. We know for basic application we have username and passwords and password encoded in base deals in authentication header. So to implement this plugin, we need to get a header in filter function. I have write a base auth function here, and this code is copied from the net HTTP request and base authenticate. Because it's not a public function, so I copy the function here. Here we are get the headers from the request, and then pass it to decode it by base deals, and we will have a username, password, and OK bool. We identify that the header is right or wrong. So here we can write the logic. We have a username and password from the request, and then if we don't have a base authentication header, we will respond this header. And the browser we are open a prompt for us to input our username and password. And if the username and password are not equal to our set configures, then we will also throw unauthorized status code with the same header before. Otherwise, we do nothing and just let the request go through. So let's run the code. We use Golang. We use Golang main.go, and we can see that the process exists. That's because we don't pass the environment variable here. The environment variable APISIX listen address is a socket address that the APISIX communicate with the plugin. So let's say and restart again. We say to Unix temp runner sock. Okay. Now we will see the plugin is running and listening to that sock. Okay, now then we can start APISIX to test. The easiest way to start APISIX is by Docker. So I have a Docker file. I will use Docker here. Let's start Docker first. And we can see my Docker file. In my Docker file, I mounted the runner's sock to the APISIX container so that APISIX can communicate with the plugin. I only have the last dependency, etcd, and we are start it at the same time. And we also need to pass the APISIX plugins runner in APISIX configure. Here, APISIX configure there's a path for test. That's for development. That means that when APISIX have a request that comes in, and if we are make an API call to the socket file. Okay. So let's start APISIX. Use Docker compose up. Okay, then APISIX is started, and then we can create a route and enable the plugin to test. So let's open Postman. In here, we will set a route, and the route's URL is get, and we will enable a plugin. You can see there's the plugin's configure name is a Go plugin based auth. Let's just match our plugin's code, and then we pass the value username and password to it. That's the plugin's configure. Look at our code. We have a base auth configure, and it will pass from the value. So we will have the configure in runtime in filter function. We will have it, and so that we can compare it to the request's username and password. Okay, let's create a route. Okay. Okay, then we can get from the response, we see that the router was created and the plugin also enabled. So we can go to this route to test the plugin. With the get, and we can see the browser asks us for username and password. we can use for bar here. Yeah, and then we can see the response. That response is passed to the upstream http bin.org, which matches our upstream config here. Okay, so that's so developer plugin is so easy, and that's the example. Thank you for watching.